Carlos Marrero talks RuPaul's Drag Race fashion. On our road to Stonewall, Janet Mock.
Because that's how they learned the
That's all they knew.
That's all they knew.
Napoleon plays talk nerdy to me.
The rumors are confirmed. Well, this wasn't today.
It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Special guest, Varla Jean Merman. And your host, fashion designer Carlos Marrero. Lifestyle expert Napoleon plays. Trans activist Aaron Phoenix. Reality star Chef Josie. DJ Diva Power Infiniti. Log Cabin Republican Joe Brookman. And our host, Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Hello, America, and welcome to another episode of It's Happening Out. If we could, that's me. Yep, sorry. That was my phone, sorry. Of It's Happening Out, America's most popular live gay talk show. First off, let's get it right out of the box. This is June 5th. Happy Gay Pride. Yeah! We've started the long march, final march to Stonewall. Welcome, America. We have a great show for you tonight. We're going to talk about all kinds of interesting things. First off, let's get out where we're at. Now, how many know what I'm getting ready to say? Everybody.
Hardly ever.
Yeah, exactly. We're coming to you from the Fort Lauderdale Grand Hotel in Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And you already know this. As you can see in the slide, we're coming from the gayest place on planet Earth. I have so many gay friends here, here at the Grand. We're in Crisp in the bar right now. One of the gayest guys that I know here in South Florida, Sean Palacios, is watching us right now. I thought I would drop his name in. He is gay, yes.
Wow.
We're coming from the Grand Hotel, and we welcome you to It's Happening Out. Now, as you know, this is a live show, so anything that happens tonight is live. There's no take-backs here. We encourage you to like us on Facebook, start a watch party if you would like. We appreciate the hundreds of thousands of you who watch It's Happening Out. We really, really appreciate it. First off, a little housekeeping. Josie has come back from Bali. Isn't that sad to say that? But she's had a family emergency. So while she was going to be here tonight, she's had a family emergency, and we wish her all of the best, her and Marcy. Josie, we love you.
We miss you.
Yes, exactly. Joe Brookman, our favorite conservative Republican, especially from Power, the bottom of his heart, he misses you desperately.
We miss you.
And he's off, and so he's not here tonight. We'll be back. Exactly. And wait, Joe doesn't look like Joe normally does. We have a guest host here tonight, and of course his real name is Jeffrey Robertson. But of course you know him as Varla Jean Merman. I call him Varla. Oh my gosh! Welcome, Varla Jean, one of the most famous drag queens in America.
Oh, that's what you look like in drag.
Yeah, that's Varla Jean.
That's an oil painting, believe me.
An oil painting, exactly.
From 20 years ago.
Bitch, I have to say, I gagged when we met him this afternoon. Yes. I was just like, wait, what? That's that?
Yeah, I know.
Big Daddy.
I have seen many of Varla Jean's products, and of course, I know a little bit about drag in America. And so this is a great experience for me. I've met almost everybody, but not Varla Jean. So I'm so thrilled that she is
Look how
on.
fishy she is.
It's Happening Out. Exactly.
She's giving you
children,
fish fillet, bitch.
Children, the word of the day is trish. When you give trade, but you're also fish.
Oh, God!
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Exactly. Trish. Exactly. So, Varla Jean, welcome to It's
Oh,
Happening
thank you. I'm
Out.
glad to be here.
We're very sorry.
I understand. I can't believe it. I've been here 8 months, and you live in the gayest place on planet Earth.
I know. I moved to Fort Lauderdale. I got married.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so my husband lives here, so now I live here,
Yeah. Okay.
and I love it.
All right. All right. We talked about this in some of the segments that we did in preparing for tonight's show. How is it that a big muscle bear like you turns into such a magnificent beauty queen as Varla Jean Merman? How is that
A
possible?
lot of duct tape.
Duct tape. Yeah. And apparently a time machine, too. Welcome, Varla Jean, to It's Happening Out.
Al, you should buy one of those.
No, it's a lot of filters. That's all it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
FaceTime.
All right.
I need an Oprah filter on me right now.
Exactly right. Well, we have so much Vaseline on the screen right now. You look stunning.
I'll feel at home.
Yes. Right, exactly. So welcome to It's Happening Out. We're really happy that you're here with us tonight. Let's begin the show. We have lots of interesting things to tell you about. We begin first with our meme of the week. We always start our show with this. It's a fun thing to do. Look at our meme of the week. This has recently appeared, and the meme of the week talks about the Queen meeting the Donald. And we thought, wow, that kind of says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That moves us to the best thing of the week. We'd like to review some of the stuff that we see from the week, and our crack production team. By the way, and I get a plug in, It's Happening Out. How many gay programming, talk shows do you see in America that deliver the kind of slides, images, and video that you see at It's Happening Out? Congratulations to our production team. And they surf the entire world to see what's interesting, and that's what we call Best Thing of the Week. This week, we go to hell.
We're not already there with you?
I'm going to talk about your eyes in a minute.
Yeah, so speaking of housekeeping that we were talking about
Y'all
before.
can go to hell.
All right. Okay, and we're going to talk about you being back, too. Don't wait. Hold on. We'll get to you. There's a video this week of Tom Ellis answering emails and messaging about him as Lucifer. Watch this.
This one simply reads, I think it's a poem. Tom Ellis is daddy. I repeat, Tom Ellis is daddy. 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 I didn't realise I had quite so many kids. Tom Ellis, f*** me in the ass with that English accent. If that were possible, I would. And if you do want to be f***ed in the ass with English accent, there's certainly some more English people than me. We could get Benedict Cumberbatch in here. He's rather marvellous as well with his old accent. He's got a 10-inch accent. Did you know that? Tom Ellis can shove... Okay, breathe. Tom Ellis can shove jelly beans up my ass any goddamn day he wants and can punch me in the face. Thank you. So is the idea that I put the jelly beans up inside you and I punch them in your face to get them out again. Sort of like a sort of primal vending machine. I like it. Oh, this is the last one. Please don't get any dirtier, you dirty bunch. This is obviously from someone with a sore throat. Why is Tom Ellis so hot? Let me gurgle that. Which, if you do have a sore throat, that's quite a good idea, actually. Not that I'm offering to do it to you, but if there is some on hand, and I don't mean on your hand, I mean like if there's some around and you got a sore throat, then gurgle that because it really will help the old vocal cords out. Anyway, those have been your thirsty tweets, and you really are a filthy bunch.
All right, it's official, America. I love the devil.
And
He said daddy's hot.
And I got a sore
yes.
throat.
I know. What do you think of Mr. Ellis and doing that? Was it a little shocking to you? Or?
He's funny and smart, too.
We didn't go over him having an
handsome?
accent last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played Shag, Marry, Chop with him last week. I would like to change my answer
No,
a week later.
no do-overs. No.
So I'll chop the other two, and I will definitely shag and marry him.
What
I'm
the fuck
curious.
happened to your eyelash? trash.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
are we going there?
No,
Are we going to
not
start
yet.
there?
No, not yet. Varla Jean, I'm
was
curious. Is
distracted.
that is he sexy to you?
Oh, he's hot.
Yeah?
Yes. Oh, he's really hot.
Yeah. Would you?
I
get
haven't
the-
watched this show, but my husband just started watching it yesterday, and I think he binge watched a lot of it. So now I see why.
I'm curious. Exactly. I don't watch.
You're like,
I'm
honey, do
starting
you
it
want to
now,
have
too."
some sex? Taken care of.
I refuse to watch the show. I do think he's hot. I refuse to watch the show.
Yeah.
Why?
And those black people, we don't do devil shit, Lucy and all that.
What does that have to do?
She's such a good Christian
I can't
girl.
do it, I just can't do it.
You break the chicken bones and the whole thing.
I just can't
the
do
whole
it.
thing. All right. Well, as you can see already, we're off to a problem here at the show. And Varla Jean, I warn you, you probably are going to be my number one culprit in this show. It's the
good.
problem. And that is the age-old question at It's Happening Out. Why are you people still talking? Now, I have chips. Everybody has a chip here at the table. This chip says, when we get to the end of our segment, that's it. Stop talking. However, I'm in charge of hosting and moderating, trying to corral the lions here.
He's
but
in
they,
charge, everybody.
They have a
White
chip.
man.
They have a chip. And this chip can contribute to, if they throw it in, unconditionally, they get 1 more minute to say whatever they want in an uninterrupted fashion. But I caution all of you, especially you, Varla Jean, you only get to use it once in the entire show. So why are you still talking until you buy me a drink? All right? You're going to buy me a drink. All right. Let me tell you a couple of housekeeping things. First off, we are working on a Father's Day special. Father's Day is coming up, and we're going to do our first TV special called Gay Father's Day, a Stonewall story. And we have 5 very unique combinations of fathers and sons, gay fathers, straight fathers, gay sons, straight sons, etc., in a Father's Day special. And we have fantastic video about how Father's Day is celebrated all over the world. We're going to give you details. Stay tuned for that and watch our Father's Day special coming. Also, next Wednesday, June 12th, gosh, I don't know if you have made the connection because I haven't seen a lot about it, but we're going to do at our live show next Wednesday, June 12th, we're going to do a memorial for Pulse. Next Wednesday will be the 4th anniversary of the Pulse Orlando shooting, and we're going to do a prominent and beautiful piece connected with our show next Wednesday on Pulse. Can't believe it's 4 years. Let's move into Celebrity Hot Topics, something that we do each week, and we tell you about some of the interesting things happening in celebrity news. First off, the cheating scandal. Lori Loughlin is facing up to 40 years in prison for her role in the scandal. It's interesting to me because the question is, what is the role going to actually end up happening? She's a rich, white woman, celebrity. What do y'all think? What's going to happen?
Well, it just seems like she's made the wrong decision, that she's going to be a scapegoat for this. I don't know what lawyer is telling her, but if she does get off, it means she got a really, really good lawyer, and it's a game. It's not necessarily the truth a lot in these kind of cases. I think it's a game. So, I mean, I don't know who advised her to do that, but I'm sort of shocked that she's going to go for it. I mean, she's going for it.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't believe that she shows up like smiling in court. She just doesn't give 2 shits.
She's Aunt Becky.
And she's just
Well, she's
Who
saying
gives
she's
a
not
shit?
guilty. That's why she's going further. She's presenting herself as not guilty, even though it looks terrible because she's the only one, right? Her and her husband.
Yeah.
signing autographs.
In other
Really?
in other celebrity news this week, Han Solo was in the news, and he says goodbye to Chewie in the big event that took place in Disneyland in California. It's also coming to Florida, to Orlando. Watch this in terms of what Harrison Ford does to honor the late Peter Mayhew.
Ladies and gentlemen, Harrison Ford. All right. Can you help us out with this thing?
I'll give it a try, Bob. Peter. This one's for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is now open.
Well, I thought that was pretty good.
That's a sex noise, everybody.
I was going to say.
It's my mating sound.
I was gonna say,
That's why you're not single.
I always get hairy guys after that.
Right?
You did say you're single, though,
Wait,
right?
have you met Varla Jean? That's right. All right.
So comfortable.
Other entertainment news. Has everybody heard? The end of RuPaul season 11 came to its conclusion. We'll talk about we'll talk about Evie in a little bit later in the show. But we mentioned it in Celebrity Hot Topics because Carlos is going to do a fashion segment on the queens, and we'll talk a little bit more about RuPaul there.
Spoiler
Last
alert.
but least, it kind of broke my heart. This week, the celebrity super champion that was on path to be the greatest champion in Jeopardy history lost. Watch this.
That takes him to 24,799. So Emma, it's up to you. If you came up with the correct response, you're going to be the new Jeopardy champion. Did you? You did. What did you wager? Oh God, 20,000. What a payday. 46,801. What a game. Oh my God.
Being a Jeopardy champion means something different than I thought it ever would. You know, my wife was actually the only one in the entire world who thought I could make it this far. She probably overshot, honestly.
The contestant coordinators were very good about just kind of presenting it matter of fact. When they said 32, I almost thought they were joking at first, just throwing out a random number, but then became clear during the game that he definitely earned it.
People need to play to win. You know, this really frustrates me when I watch sports and a team is down by 2 touchdowns and they're punting anyway. You know why? At least try. You know, something good could happen.
Of course, because of the statistics, the math. In 32 shows, he had won almost $2.5 million. In comparison to Ken Jennings, who was the number one, he is number 2 now. The number 1 contestant, Ken Jennings, went 70-some shows and won $3.5 million.
Wow.
He was on path to double him
Wow.
if he would have gone that many shows. An amazing achievement,
And
even in losing.
He
at that
changed
moment.
the way that Jeopardy is going to be seen in the future because the techniques that he utilized to play, since we have the internet and we can analyze past shows, it's going to change the game forever if people study what he did because he's a professional gambler. Study what he did.
Exactly. Would anybody do well on Jeopardy?
I'm sure you think you would.
I'd be out the first.
I'll be out.
The first question.
Varla Jean, would you do good
No,
on
I do the
Jeopardy?
Price is Right. The shell game, baby.
the little the mountaineer.
Anything, yeah, I don't know.
So do you think you would do a good job on Jeopardy?
Actually, I would do a good job on Jeopardy. In fact, last week I was with a friend and I was watching Jeopardy and one of the games that he was doing, and I bet I answered 20 questions.
But you know, it's not just about answering; it's also about having fast reflexes.
Yeah, exactly. I can't tell you that, but I think I would do pretty good. I don't know.
That's if your arm is better.
Yeah, now that my arm is better. Exactly. Okay.
Power, I
That's
missed
shade.
you.
That's
I don't know,
shade.
Power.
By the way,
We so
welcome back.
miss.
Welcome back. All right. That's our Celebrity Hot Topics. Let's move into our big headlines of the week. First off, in our headlines, our news. We talked about abortion last week, and especially in Georgia, and it's kind of sweeping across the South. Disney and Netflix have announced this week that over issues in Georgia and in Florida, they're considering a pull-out of filming in the state. As you can see here, I haven't heard the final of the breaking news and what's been going on in Missouri because the decision was delayed. But if the court does not side with Planned Parenthood, there will be no abortion clinics in the state of Missouri. And there is backlash growing of businesses that are saying that they're going to boycott the states that implement these kind of policies. What do you all think about what's going on in entertainment and businesses' support or lack of support?
Also,
of
The
these
Walking
moves?
Dead franchise is threatening to pull out of Georgia, which would big,
huge.
big impact.
Well, and no abortion is a good reason to pull out, girl. I'm just saying.
Yes. I mean, you know, I just feel that it's outrageous to me that Republicans or conservatives would have this much umbrage and outrage when it comes to abortion and when it comes to heartbeat. It's the heartbeat bill is what in Georgia. That's the state that all these companies are kind of boycotting. But transgenders have heartbeats too, and they don't seem to. There's no outrage or umbrage for them.
Not me, but most of us do.
Babies and children's locked up in cages right now have heartbeats too. There's no umbrage or outrage for them. School kids that have have heartbeats before they are shot dead in school massacres. They also have heartbeats. There's no outrage or umbrage for them. But as long as you're in the pussy, they seem to have all the care in the world. As soon as you pop out, they can't be bothered. So I just think that it's absolutely ridiculous. I actually am pro-life. However, I also believe that you can still be pro-life and still be more for women's rights and pro-choice. I don't think that abortion should be just used willy-nilly as some type of contraceptive or birth control, but at the end of the day, it is a woman's choice, a woman's decision what to do with her health, her body, her future, and
Your
herself.
point comes right to the point of what's going on in America, which is our headline. These laws are designed to get to the Supreme Court quickly.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court is going to make a decision, and they're going to evaluate Roe v. Wade, and we're going to find out what is happening in terms of
I think even
this
a bigger
headline.
issue is that when this happens, can this same strategy be used to overturn or to get the courts to look at other things
Like
that
gay
have
marriage.
You mean
Yes,
companies
like gay
getting
marriage.
big companies
Yes.
getting involved
Exactly.
to change the dynamic?
Yeah. It is definitely an issue on the Supreme Court. Other headlines in the news: Maine, the state of Maine, becomes the first state this week to ban Native American mascots in all public schools. If you're a Seminole or some other kind of related Native American mascot, it's now illegal in the state of Maine. What do y'all think?
It's about damn time. I mean, come on, people are not mascots. People are not caricatures. When we have, the Florida Fags running around and playing football, then, we'll have that conversation too. We gotta be better about humanizing people. Humanizing humans should not be that difficult of a conversation.
Hey, I don't want to take away from your point, but a very good friend of the show, Chi-Chi LaRue, is watching right now. We say hello to
Hey, girl.
Chi-Chi. Other big headlines in the news this week is, of course, a Virginia mass shooting, and let's watch another video on another mass shooting. Basically summarizing that in Virginia Beach this week, 11 people were killed. Am I the only person that has become numb to this? When
No.
I heard this news, I feel terrible for saying this, but it was like, and I am directly affected by a mass shooting, and I felt like it's what goes on in
You
America.
become desensitized.
I'm just desensitized to it.
I want to see what the statistics are.
When
People
is
that were
enough
affected
enough?
before versus now.
If Sandy Hook wasn't enough, it's not going to happen.
It's
I mean,
not
if,
gonna
sa-
happen.
if children, if they can make up conspiracy theories that it never even happened, I don't see what could be worse. And I hate to say this because we know it can be. What could be worse than Sandy Hook to make people not want
and
to
for
have
the gay community,
even a slight bit of gun
Sorry,
control?
I didn't mean to step on you. Oh wait, maybe I did.
I like to step
I
on
agree with your point, and for the gay community, what could not bring us to a greater stop than Pulse? Why isn't the gay community screaming up in arms about the change?
I think we have
watched.
been.
Hold on one sec. We watched the students at Marjorie Stoneman really take a hold of America's throat and had some positive step forward. We haven't done that in the gay community. They haven't done that in Connecticut. They didn't do that in Las Vegas, and now they have Virginia Beach. And seriously, and I really, honestly, I do want to move on because I'm desensitized to it. There's going to be another one next week, and the week after that, and next month.
We just need to vote.
We don't believe we can do anything about it, and so we don't.
Exactly.
Probably won't change it.
Other big headlines in the news: funny has to do with Fox News and Elizabeth Warren in the same sentence. Elizabeth Warren said, I'm not going on Fox News because Fox News is basically not really news. It is a propaganda machine. And so therefore she wasn't going to go on it. But a lot of people made the observation, including Democrats, how can Elizabeth Warren be president of the United States and represent all of us and then completely dismiss an entire segment of people that would be supportive of Fox News?
That's what Donald Trump is doing right now.
All right, but you put Elizabeth Warren in the same bucket as Donald Trump?
Not necessarily,
Well,
but
and everybody knows I am the biggest anti-Trump, but I have to say, to be fair, when he was running, he did appear on every news station, including CNN, which he hates.
But that wasn't his choice. That was because it got ratings, and that's how our news works.
Ultimately,
it's
it was
literal terrorism.
Ultimately, it was his choice because she made a choice as well to stay off of Fox. So she had that choice. Nobody's forcing him to do anything. Ultimately, he made the choice. I'm sure it wasn't a choice he liked, but he did it. And I do think that there is a point to be made about the fact that, yes, Fox News is fake as fuck, and she does have a point. However, I think that she really should reconsider, because I think it's a valid point that she is supposed to be president for everybody.
Yeah.
Her message might not be welcome, but that's what she signed up for when she decided to run for president of the United States.
She's so far left that I don't think showing up in Fox is gonna help or break her. Like, to me, she's never gonna convince these people. They're already like programmed.
Well, you don't know, because even if it's one vote, that's one more vote that she has. And I will say that for Fox viewers, Pete Buttigieg, for a lot of them, is so far left, even before he opens his mouth, just because he's gay. Yeah. But he had the bravery and the courage.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm going to cut you off. We're going to follow this story for a long time. So I'm sorry to do that. But it's interesting to me on what's going on with Fox and Elizabeth Warren. It is definitely a headline in the week. We're going to move out of our headlines now. Let's play a little game. And we'll lighten up the politics that we do. Let's play the game Shag, Marry, Chop. Now, everybody knows how to play this. America, we invite you to do the exact same thing. We're going to put up, hold for me, production. We're going to do a slide here in playing the game, and we're going to show you 3 gentlemen this week in our game, and you're going to tell us who you would shag. Varla Jean, do you know what the word shag means?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Have you ever shagged?
Today.
Okay. All right. And then who would you marry?
Shagged.
And then who would you chop? Okay. All right. So let's do this. Sons of famous actors. Let's look at Scott Eastwood, his father Clint Eastwood, Max Irons, his father Jeremy Irons, or Patrick Schwarzenegger, his father Arnold Schwarzenegger. And interesting here in the pictures that you're seeing, the fathers are approximately the same age as their sons in this slide for Shag, Marry, Chop. Who wants to start?
Are we doing father and son at the same time?
You could.
It's Father's Day.
Aaron wants.
Just checking.
You could. There was not that restriction. So, who's going to play?
They'll look the same.
Jump
again.
Oh my God, Patrick Schwarzenegger. His eyes are just ridiculous. I would shag him. I would marry Scott Eastwood, and I would chop Max Iron.
Yeah, and so I understand the eyes on Patrick. Why would you marry Scott Eastwood?
Because he's a stud, and he's just
because
beautiful.
the tastier
Just
girl.
beautiful.
This joke is getting older.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yes. Well, it comes from an older man too.
Yeah.
Anybody else on Shag, Marry, Chop? Who's next?
All right, I guess I'm gonna shag Scott Eastwood. Those eyebrows, he looks a little.
That's
stern.
your thing,
Looks a
eyebrows?
little stern. He's got that brow ridge, like if you look stern, never mind, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah, the leather guy wouldn't understand rage. I got it. You're the only one. The trans people have all of the power of all rage that anyone's ever experienced.
Oh my gosh, the Civil War has just been thrown down. Between trans and leather.
Are you done?
All right.
So that's not a new conflict, is it? So I guess I'm going to marry Max Irons because I'm out of choices, and I'm going to chop Patrick Schwarzenegger because he looks 12.
Oh, okay. And you don't like young boys?
No, I'm the young boy. I had,
living in this
and I told you
delusion.
I have to be the pretty one in my, couplings. So don't look at me like that.
Yeah, there's other ugly people that are up there.
All right. Who else? Who wants to play
Okay,
Shag,
so
Marry, Chop?
I will go next. I actually changed my mind just now in giving these guys a deeper look. I'm gonna shag Aaron. Yeah, I'm gonna shag Max Irons because he kind of looks like he has a bit of Billy Badass in him, and I like that. I'm definitely going to marry Aaron.
Girl, I can't-
Scott
I can't
Eastwood.
move- I can't move so
move
far,
there.
girl.
Scott Eastwood, all day, every day.
Yes.
And Patrick Schwarzenegger. I mean, the child looks like
A child.
Yeah, the child looks like
he is
just a child.
stunningly beautiful.
Yeah, that looks
My
like a
gosh.
magazine
I know
ad.
that's.
I want to ask you something, Power.
That's a little creepy that you guys.
fascinates me about.
He looks
Shag,
like
Marry,
he's
Chop.
4.
In the shag, the badass comment. You're attracted to. I mean, you have quite a sharp personality. Frequently, I follow you in social media. And you have quite a sharp attitude in social media. You like the badass?
I do. I like somebody that's badder than me.
Really?
I do.
Wow.
Because, and Aaron can vouch for this. I'm sure he also associates with this. Sometimes some of us that are Billy Badasses, the only time that we want to give up control and actually feel like we're not as bad or as in control is in the bed.
So I'm curious.
Don't push me around like that.
Yes.
More like, don't push me.
Does each of you think you're more of a badass than
or
the
just
other?
revive me after you choke me out.
Right.
You like to be choked
Oh.
out? Oh my gosh!
We need drinks.
We need to clear and I swallow that
Shot,
question,
please. Welcome to another episode of Power Infiniti Sexual 101.
This is
It's
why.
happening out after dark.
This is why you and I would never work because we were into the same thing.
I know.
So speaking of
Wow.
breath control, that's actually why I would pick Patrick as my shag because he's flagging yellow. He looks like a lot of fun in terms of that.
What does
department.
flagging yellow
Flag
mean?
yellow means piss play, which has all sorts of variety in the leather community, and I would have a lot of fun with that if that is to be
Facials.
true. Yeah, well, facial's more like cum. That's not really. You don't have to piss on the
Wait.
face as much for a facial.
America, I have to clue you in on something. We've done a couple of pre-segment pieces, and Napoleon Plays came with these gigantic eyebrows that he has lost, and
Eyelashes.
eyelashes. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's true.
And I'm wondering, is that because of the yellow commitment, or something that happened in break, or what happened here?
Well, it's because I trusted my team to tell me, "Oh, you're sweating too much and it's falling off." But bitch, I can't trust any gay around
you
here.
just
clearly.
used the wrong brand of lash adhesive. That is not Duo. Only
it's-
use Duo.
Bitch, those
First
Jacqueline
time.
Smith lashes were not working today.
Never trusting anyone at this table again.
I'm so confused.
As usual.
The leather guy and the big muscle bear are talking about what to do on keeping the lashes on their
The
face.
right glue.
Sometimes being a part of a community doesn't mean you're just a part of
Yes.
that community.
All right,
Stop
all right,
putting us
all
in
right,
boxes.
all
See,
right.
this
So-
this segment got me in trouble already. My husband just got on here and said, "Sorry, Power, you're already taken."
Yeah, it was
Wow.
already on my phone too. I was like, bitch, your husband is claiming.
All right.
Well, I would
He
shag.
pissed on you is what he did.
Don't worry,
Pissed by
hunky
Ming's
poop. We're
spot.
not coming for her.
That's funny. All right, and you finished?
It's
No,
a game.
I would marry the guy at the ocean, Scott Eastwood. I don't know, why not? And I don't know. I'm not liking the look on Max Irons' face. He looks very suspicious with that and the unibrow on it. So I'm gonna chop that.
The unibrow.
Chop that
Oh, he
bitty.
does have one.
I
right.
would shag Max Irons because Jeremy Irons is rumored to be blessed. So and
with a good
I-
personality?
Yeah,
Wait.
yes.
Wait,
And-
wait. You're a size queen?
No. Okay.
I hear that skips a
And
generation.
husband
I would marry Patrick Schwarzenegger because I like Daddy. And Scott Eastwood, didn't Clint Eastwood do that weird thing with the chair at the Republican National?
Yeah.
I
He
can't
did.
forgive that.
Yeah, no,
Out.
he's out. All right,
Yeah.
did we cover everybody? Shag, marry, chop. An interesting one. Nobody said anything about the fathers. You started it. But
I did.
nobody-
I said Daddy, and I
Yeah.
said Jeremy,
Oh,
and all
okay.
mine were all based on the daddies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, if it was based on the daddies, it'd be a whole different.
One last thing. I'm curious. Did anybody see the video of Arnold Schwarzenegger in South Africa?
Yes.
Where he was signing, and the the guy ran up to
Yes.
him and then drop kicked
Uh-huh.
him.
What?
And
Yes, in the
he
back.
ran and drop kicked him in the back.
Yeah.
And even at like 790 years old, Arnold Schwarzenegger barely moved, and the guy went right down.
That's
to the ground.
down.
And that
Fucking
bodyguard
hot.
needs to be chopped.
Yeah,
And he didn't
was-
even know he was hit. He just thought he had fallen.
Yeah,
he didn't
it
even
was-
know.
Yeah.
That guy's poor
He
legs.
said, "Whoa, what's up?"
Yeah, exactly. All right.
New fantasies
So
in my head.
that's
You hit
Shag-
my back.
Shag, Marry, Chop. We play it every week. Tune in. We do special shows on Shag, Marry, Chop. Let's move on to some fashion. And, of course, we have our famous fashion designer with us, our Vogue boy, our scarf
Fashionista.
boy, our fashionista,
Scarf boy.
our red carpet name dropper in Hollywood boy.
Bitch, I ain't you.
And right, exactly. A big event happened this last week, and that was the finale of RuPaul. And so we're calling the services of Carlos Marrero in and doing a World of Fashion segment on RuPaul's Drag Race. So Carlos, take it away and show us what you thought were the goods and the bads.
Well, I'm so excited because we're all talking about the Queen and Trump visiting the Queen, but we're going to talk about the real queens. And I love Drag Race, and I love this particular episode because the queens, after they've been picked, the top 4, they have time to go home and to polish their drag.
11
And
months.
11 months
11
to be
months.
able, thank you, to be able to come back and show us what they got. And some people went a little kooky, some people went full glam, some people went comedy, like you, and I just love that. So I decided to pick my favorite ones, and let's just start with the fishiest look. And
Fishiest.
to me, the fishiest look is the gorgeous Plastique Tiara,
yes.
who gave us fashion for days. I mean, she was giving us her culture. I just love that she looked like a little mannequin. She looked amazing. It was like a Vietnamese culture. She looks like she was filtered on all of these filters on your phone, but there were no filters.
Beautiful.
What,
That is a
what do y'all
beautiful
think?
face.
Do you like this?
She's beautiful. She could wear anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the face is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
She's from
face is
the House of Edwards,
unbelievable.
and Alyssa
Oh,
should be
it's-
very
yes.
proud.
No,
This
she-
is the youngest daughter of Alyssa Edwards.
She's beyond that. I mean, they're all great queens, but this is crazy how on point this is with everything she does. It's a different silhouette that
She's
she had
like
on
giving
the
me
camera.
like the Snow Queen from Narnia.
You know,
Totally.
I know many of you at the table know this, but a lot of people in America may not. One of the things that always surprises people about RuPaul's Drag Race is the number one demographic of those that follow RuPaul's Drag Race are not gay men. It is women from 27 to 45. It's the number one demographic, and this is the reason why. They want to learn about makeup and hair and then fashion. And this is a perfect example of why they watch RuPaul's Drag Race.
Beautiful.
The next slide that I want to show is one that I think that you will find very appealing.
I love her, yeah.
She is the pride of this season, Miss Nina West, who gave us a paper doll look. I just love this wig looked like a helmet.
Yes.
This shit was not moving. It was completely still. I mean, she won Miss Congeniality that night, and I love all the detail in the back of the paper doll, including the logo of the designer at the bottom. What do we think of this look?
I'm confused.
Well, she's a paper doll, so I love this look, and she's a great person. I mean, Nina West has done so much for charity, raised millions of dollars. I mean, when you have the power of drag at your fingertips, she did all this before she was even on television. Just imagine now the money that she will be able to raise, because she has a great heart and she's a beautiful person.
I wanted her to be top 4, by the way.
Oh, me
When
too.
she got
Me
eliminated,
too.
I was in pain
Yes.
because she's an older queen. She tried like
God, if that's
1,700
older, I'm
times to
aging.
get in
Yeah.
the show.
She's an older queen, but look how much her makeup improved from the finale from the weeks prior. I
She
can't believe it's the same
brought it.
person.
Yeah.
I'm living for the wig.
Yeah, the wig is stunning.
I just noticed the paper tabs,
it is
and now
so
I understand.
cartoonish. It is absolutely breathtaking.
All right. And Aaron said something about Ice Princess, and we're going to go to Canada for the one and only Brooklyn Heights, who was first runner-up, and she gave us Ice Princess realness. And I just love how polished this look was. She's a former Miss Continental, which I love the Miss Continental brand. And I thought she was going to take the whole crown, but I was actually happy, very excited that Miss Evie Oddly won. What do we think of this sickening see-through?
Boring. I honestly
Are
think
you
this
shitting
I think
me?
this is incredibly. I like Brooklyn. She's had some amazing looks throughout the season. So for her to come out for the finale wearing this, I thought her first look that she sewed in the workroom was better. That skin-tight bodysuit. This does not look like it was 11 months put into it. I expected more from her because she's incredible, and I was disappointed.
Says the one with the Tammy Faye eye makeup.
All right.
Anyway, and now to my top pick of the week.
No, that's totally. I will totally give you that.
Before you put the slide, we've seen these T-shirts where it shows like the muscles underneath the skin, like anatomy muscles and all of that stuff. Well, our queen, the newest queen, Miss Evie Oddly, wore a gorgeous gown where there was a pushing and pulling of textures here. She showed all the muscles. Check it out. And I just love this because it looks so couture. I love her headpiece. I love the eyes. What do we think?
I hate the eyes.
You do?
I think it's such a cheat, and it's a really cheap way to get you to focus on the eyes, as opposed to the hair and the makeup and the jewelry. I just think that and it's a beautiful look, except the eyes. The
Do
eyes
you hate
just
it because
completely-
it's so different? Because I
well,
think it's part
mostly,
of her brand.
to be honest with you, I've seen it 10,000 times.
Are you talking about the contacts or the
Yes, the
makeup?
contact.
Oh, okay,
I think the makeup is fully blended.
It's
This is
different.
another one that
Different.
polished her
Different.
look
Oh, she's
after
much more
she
polished.
left.
This would have looked great.
Right?
on
I
the
thought
show.
on the show, I mean, it was the same transformation Jinx Monsoon had before.
Yeah.
It was a definite point where, okay, suddenly they're better. The only thing about Evie is that I wish I would have never watched Untucked because she did not come off well.
She was a big.
And
However,
in fact, she did not come off well.
Now
So-
we know
yeah.
what Al does to us. I mean, this is it. Evie Oddly.
That's too high of a praise.
You know, it's interesting. It's interesting in what you said. I'm not sure that I like Untucked now. They moved away from it for a while. After the Roxy Andrews season, I really no longer became a fan of what they did, and the reason is because Untucked was so highly edited that they could say, I love Florida, but by the time it was edited, I would be saying, I hate Florida. And that's what happened to Roxy Andrews. That whole thing that happened in the process of Untucked was completely, basically untrue. And the only definition was, well, the words came out of your mouth. But yes, the words came out of your mouth so chopped together to completely.
They did that
You know what their
Misinterpret.
biggest
And
secret
that's-
is? Their biggest secret on the show is that every time they're in the confessional, you have to be in the exact same outfit. From episode 1 to episode 14, you are in the exact same outfit. They can choose any word that you've said, and it will
mix
look
it
like
in.
the same, but because they make you wear the and that's done on purpose.
And that's what I hear in terms of your observation. I completely agree. I wish I wouldn't have even seen Untucked because it influences what I think, and I completely agree with that.
But congratulations to the underdog. She deserved to win. I'm
And
sorry.
That dance off they had between Brooklyn and her
dance-off was
is
amazing.
the best lip sync in the
And
history
we
of the
don't
show.
have a
It was
belt
better than-
tonight.
I have to say,
more than the
and I'm
first.
going to move on. Can we show the Evie
no,
slide
the
one
one
more
from
time?
earlier in the season.
If possible. Look at this. One of the things, and I had her on the cruise many, many times. Sharon was on the cruise the first time, the season that she was going to win, and Alaska was on the cruise secretly as Sharon's partner. And when I saw this slide in preparing, I immediately thought, wow, it's Sharon Needles, only with a heck of a lot more money. And I
polished.
thought, and a lot more polished
And probably
too.
less racism.
It's yeah, probably. Well,
But I want to use my chip.
at this point.
okay, all right.
I'm going to use it early.
Okay.
And I want to say two things. Number one, that I started writing a column for Hotspots as the fashion guy at Hotspot, so I'm very excited about that. And number two, I want to say that the winner of the whole week was this bitch, Power Infiniti, who was wearing the most sickening gown outfit in her performance at Disney. And I have you to thank for doing that because you looked amazing. I was so proud of your sugar daddy fashion queen. And you just, that costume, anything you want to say about that? Because it's still my minute.
I want to see it. Where
It's
is
amazing.
Go put it on.
Did you live?
I had a great time. And actually, what you saw was they had designed for me part of it. And after I tried it on, I looked in the mirror. I said, "We need more. We need." So the shoulder piece that you guys saw was actually my contribution to the
very
outfit.
nice. Very
I was
nice.
gagged.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And one of the things that I want to make sure, America, you might not know in terms of Carlos's reference in writing, Hotspots is a very popular print and digital media product here in Florida. They live right in our backyard with us in the gayest place on planet Earth. A great program. I mentioned my friend Sean Palacios, and he does Hotspots Live. Great entertainment program, so congratulations to you in writing for them. The fashion segment for Hotspots is a great job. Thank you for analyzing RuPaul's Drag Race. Let's move on to talking about how I started the show, this is Pride Month. And we now move into the celebration. All of the major prides in America, Chicago, New York, and World Pride, of course, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Dallas was last weekend, and on and on and on and on. This is Pride Month. Many, many things will be celebrated leading up to Stonewall and the celebration. The anniversary is June 28th. The national and international parade of World Pride will be on June 30th. Google decided to celebrate Pride Month. And I don't know if you've seen this, but look at this Google Doodle that was announced yesterday and shown. And I'm going to talk a little over it because this is quite unique. Now, they have done gay pride things before, but this was different. This one was 5 different imaging based on the Stonewall gay rights celebration, starting in 1969, disco of 1979, some reference to the AIDS crisis and what was going on in 1989, to the turn of the millennium and music of 1999, to some of our politics in 2009 and the change in America, to our celebration of our 50th anniversary of Stonewall in 2019. First, congratulations, Google, for representing such respect to the gay community by doing this on the #1 platform in the world.
Yes.
Congratulations. What do y'all think about what Google did, and what do you think about Pride Month?
I love the Google Doodles in general because they are very, they're conscious. You know, they bring up more than just the obvious. And I personally have learned a lot over various different months, whether it be Black History Month, whether it be, Latin history, whether it be gay history. And, Google's doing what they do, which is making a lot of money by being inclusive and showing that that's where it's at these days.
Any other thoughts?
I really like that when you click on those doodles, it tells you more information and how to find more information on the topic at hand. So you can use it to learn, and it tells you the history if you're not aware even what they're talking about. It's a great tool to use for anything, quite honestly, since most people search for everything they need to find out.
Production has this slide up that you're seeing right now for Pride Month. I want to do a little bit of breaking news. The hosts do not know what I'm getting ready to do. We're all in celebratory mode, an entire month of pride and gay rights in America. Today, there's some breaking news. I don't know if you know, but there's some counter activity going on that has just recently been announced, and it's first going on in Boston and in other locations. And I don't know if y'all know, but there's a movement to have straight prides. And we picked up something breaking in news just today to help frame this conversation. Watch this.
Tonight, Only Boston 25 News spoke with the president of the group planning that parade. He told us he wants tolerance for everybody.
This gay this and trans this, what is so offensive about a straight pride parade?
That's John Hugo, president of the group Super Happy Fun America, speaking to Boston 25 News by phone about his plan to host a straight pride parade in Boston this summer. Super Happy Fun America bills itself as an advocate for the straight community to foster respect and awareness with people from all walks of life. Hugo told us he feels straight people are an oppressed minority, which he added is unfairly labeled as hate.
We have asked to add an S to LGBTQ for straight, because that acronym gets longer every year, as you know. And you can be any kind of sexual orientation, and they make them up by the day now. But we wanted to add straight, nothing doing.
Hugo and the other parade organizers have designed a flag and designated actor Brad Pitt as their mascot because he's, quote, a hero to all straight men around the world. In a statement, Mayor Marty Walsh declined to specifically address the parade proposal. Instead, he focused on the LGBTQ pride and encouraged people to attend the official Pride Parade and fight for equality for everyone. He said, quote, every year Boston hosts our annual Pride Week, where our city comes together to celebrate the diversity, strength, and acceptance of our LGBTQ community. This is a special week that represents Boston's values of love and inclusion, which are unwavering. The president of Boston Pride, which is organizing the Pride Parade on Saturday, said her group is focused on making this year's parade the biggest yet. She added, quote, we know that straight allies of the LGBTQ community are among the thousands of supporters who come out every year to march, observe, and celebrate. Hugo told us his group does have gay allies, and if their parade gets the green light, he already has an unnamed prominent gay conservative lined up as a keynote speaker.
All invited.
Organizers of the Straight Pride Parade tentatively plan to host the event in late August. The city of Boston has been in contact with the group, but at this time hasn't issued any permits.
Well. Super happy, fun America. And we need to be straight friendly.
Yeah, that minority is what he said.
Yes.
Straight minority.
You ever see something that just makes you squint?
This is designed to just create hysteria and controversy. If no one even covered this, who cares? It's designed at this time when people are ready to celebrate Pride to just get a rise out of us. I'm sorry. I think there should be no focus on it. I just think it's ridiculous.
I was beaten and attacked and persecuted for being straight. Said no straight person ever. I was you know what I'm saying? I was refused services because I was straight. Said no straight person ever. I mean, this is, to me, this is absolutely ridiculous. We have 1 month, they have 12. We have 1 weekend that we're celebrating Stonewall, they have 52. We have, most prides have 1 day of the Pride Parade, they have 365. So I'm not here to stop anybody from doing any kind of foolishness or their straight pride. Do whatever the fuck you want, but y'all straight pride is not going to stop our rise. Period. Point.
Exactly. And to your point, interesting already, and this was breaking news today.
It was actually yesterday because I posted on it yesterday.
Yeah, okay. But the real important point is the press today, it's full today, as we show you one example.
Well, Alejandro Ocasio-Cortez and Captain America, Chris Evans, they just put out like...
And I'm trying to get to that tweet. And so
sorry.
let's look at what Chris Evans said today.
Oh, man.
Wow. Cool initiative, fellas. Just a thought. Instead of a straight pride parade, how about this? The desperately trying to bury our own gay thoughts by being homophobic because no one taught us how to access our emotions as a children's parade. What do you think? 2 on the nose? Yeah, and I think it kind of summarizes
I love him more.
I think it's ironic that they chose somebody that is such a big LGBT plus advocate for our community, Brad Pitt, as their mascot.
Yeah,
they've seen Fight Club.
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
ultimately macho, big man.
Is this happening everywhere, or is it just this one clown in Boston?
It is being talked about in San Francisco and Los Angeles.
Yes. And I think it's because they gave this guy press who looks like he lives in his mother's basement.
Well,
I mean, I'm sorry. We're listening to this guy.
The one interesting thing that we're going to watch is when I saw the news and I started hearing about this, of course it brought us to a stop. One of the things that I thought about is what would America's reaction be in Black History Month or around Martin Luther King's celebration of white supremacists saying we're going to have a pride march. And that's what this kind of feels like.
Well, it's the same thing as all lives matter rather than Black Lives Matter. It's the same principle.
Exactly. And there would actually, that's a good point, Al, because there would be more outrage. Now, there has been talk of white pride.
Yeah.
Okay? And they try to market it the same way. Well, we're not racist. We just want to show pride in ourselves.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, it is undercover racism clouded in some type of
Well, it's breaking news right in front of your eyes here on It's Happening Out. I'm glad that we could have this conversation. This is just the kickoff. It's our first broadcast in the month of June. We're all celebrating. Again, everything that we just saw in that video package doesn't even slightly compare to what Google did yesterday. So congratulations, and have Happy Pride Month, America, and the world, because it's going to be an exciting June.
All right.
Okay.
I'll throw my chip in. You made a really good point, Varla Jean, about the fact that, and this is what dawns on me as we're closing out the segment, it's the first show of Pride Month. And who are we talking about?
Yes.
Straight people.
Yes.
We are here on this LGBT show talking about straight pride, and that's exactly the point. This is the same kind of propaganda bullshit as the, trans people want a non-binary Santa Claus hysteria, okay? This kind of crap is made up or is thought up to get a rise out of people and to divert the attention away from the real conversation, the real struggles that our community goes through, the real things that we need to be still addressing today. So
it's
I'm
such a
over it.
minority of those people wanting the straight pride parade, believe me, and it's just getting just people riled up.
Isn't it three Boston guys that started this shit?
Listen to the guy. Look at him. I mean, that's all. I'm sorry to judge him, but I am judging him.
One last note on Pride Month. Next Saturday, we're very happy to announce It's Happening Out will be we'll be doing a special show on Stonewall, and we're going to do a show, and here in the gayest place on planet Earth, 100,000 people will be showing up in Wilton Manors, and we're going to be broadcasting the parade live to the nation. And so you're going to get to celebrate one of the big prides in the United States on June 15th here in Wilton Manors, Florida. And if you're in Florida or somewhere where you can get to South Florida and Fort Lauderdale, be sure and come, because it's going to be a great time. We're going to close out our show with one of our favorite segments, speaking of pride, and that is, of course, On the Road to Stonewall. Each week we celebrate a leader, a gay icon, doesn't have to be gay, as somebody that represents our community in certainly interesting and magical and perhaps controversial ways. And tonight we celebrate Janet Mock. Let's watch what we've prepared on Janet Mock for our road to Stonewall.
You know, as a young person, you don't have much agency or decision making.
That's right. Right.
And so you just go wherever people pick you up and take you and
Yeah.
say that this is the way the world is. And something internal inside of me told me constantly that what they're saying is wrong. And so it creates this dissonance with who can you trust if you know that inside, as a 5-year-old, that this is how you know yourself to be.
So you knew that something was different, right? Do you think they knew too?
Oh yeah.
They all knew. Because you were saying in the book you describe it as your why you held your wrists that way.
Why I held my wrist, why I had a little swish in my hips. I had no idea why I was performing self in this way, why I was expressing my gender in this way. I didn't have language to understand that. And I don't think my father did either. All he knew was that that's not how a boy is supposed to act. Not my son.
We have a special guest in the building, author Janet Mock.
Yep.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, I think that when I was growing up, I didn't really have images of folk like me who were doing the work that I wanted to do. Ever since I was very young, I wanted to work in popular culture. I wanted to be a writer. And then maybe around 12 was when I told my parents that I felt as if something was different than me, and it was more than just being attracted to boys. It had to be more, it was more about my own identity. And so it was around 13, 14 that I began transitioning, basically. Well, I think that being a trans woman, for me, it was more about who I felt I was versus who I felt I was attracted to. And so what happens oftentimes is there's a conflation and a mix-up between sexual orientation, meaning who you go to bed with, and gender identity, meaning who you go to bed as. And so that's the distinction between the two. And so for me, it wasn't about, the sense of feeling I was attracted to men or being attracted to masculinity. It was about my own embodiment and how I wanted to show up, not just in the bed, but also in the world. I am so proud to be in this space with you all tonight to celebrate the critical work of the Trevor Project. As a trans teen growing up in Hawaii, the stories I watched on television became a refuge, offering me reflection and recognition. I remember how deeply affected and seen I felt when Wilson Cruz came across my screen as Ricky Vasquez. the gender nonconforming gay bestie on My So-Called Life. That singular depiction of a young LGBTQ person of color was life-affirming for me as a young person, showing me that I was not the first student to feel like an outsider, to be misunderstood, to not truly feel that I belonged. It offered me a mirror that let me see myself more fully for the first time, letting me know that I was not alone, and more important, that I was worthy of being seen, worthy of taking up space, worthy of being heard, and of being accepted. And this is the message at the heart of Pose.
Well, I have to tell you, if for no other reason, I love this segment because I love Pose. It introduced me to a whole segment of our community that I wasn't super familiar with, and I just love the show. Each week, as we do our celebration, is our countdown. We're just down to 4 episodes before Stonewall. Just for, we've been doing this for 8 months of our celebration of Stonewall. So many magnificent people. All of our hosts participate and talk about our nominee and our honoree for our gay icon of the week. And we tell you something about them and something that they say. And tonight is no different, and we'll start with Varla Jean.
You have to repeat that. What?
Anything you want to say about Janet Mock?
Oh, I mean, I love the show Pose. I had several friends who have transitioned, and I could not believe the specificity of the issues that trans people go through, particularly, the men trans to women. I couldn't believe the same things that my friends had told me that were going through these issues that they presented, like every one of them on the show. I thought it was just an amazing show, and I she's an amazing writer. And one of the favorite quotes from Janet Mock says, "Owning who we are is power. We've got to dare to stand out. We have to be different," which is so important. Even with Pride, it's Pride Month. There was a time in the 90s, well, you would remember, but that even the gay community did not want people to be different. It was, everybody had to be the same. They didn't want drag in the parades. They didn't want dykes on bikes. They wanted to present ourselves as just like the rest of the world. Well, we're not. We're not normal in that sense. And I think when we started doing that is how we gained more power, and that's how we got accepted.
Yeah.
It was not if we pretended that we're like everybody else. So that is a beautiful statement.
I echo your observation repeatedly. The diversity of our community is the strength of our community, which is what you just said. Napoleon.
It's always nice to hear about that, by the way, especially as someone that necessarily didn't experience all of it. Every time I get to hear it.
Child, you were alive in the 90s, stop.
But I wasn't a part of the gay community then.
Janet Mock. Let's come back to Janet.
So before, you know of Pose now, but before that, Janet made a lot of different lists. The Trans 100, the Out 100, the 30 Under 30, the 30 most influential people on the internet, 12 new faces of black leadership. The list of the lists goes on and on. She was well known for a lot of different things. One of my favorite quotations from her: "Those parts of yourself that you desperately want to hide and destroy will gain power over you. The best thing to do is face and own them, because they are forever a part of you."
Oh, awesome. I love that. Aaron.
So did y'all hear what she said on that video, that sexuality is who you go to bed with and gender is who you go to bed as? I echo that all the time. And Janet Mock is somebody who has made it her point, because she has had so much success, especially with her writing, to go out and educate others and use that privilege. Janet Mock once said, "Being exceptional isn't revolutionary. It's lonely. It separates you from your community. Who are you really without community? I have been held up consistently as a token, as the right kind of trans woman, educated, able-bodied, attractive, articulate, heteronormative. I made it, and it promotes the delusion that because I made it, that level of success is easily accessible to all young trans women. Let's be clear, it is not."
That is almost
powerful.
profound.
Yeah,
Powerful.
How do I follow that? So Janet Mock was the first trans woman of color in a Hollywood writer's room. She's the first to write and direct a TV series, Pose, which is one of my favorite, and is starting this week or next week, and shared the show with not one, not two, not three, but 5 trans women of color in the show. And one of my favorite quotes is, "A movement is much more than a march. A movement is that different space between our reality and our vision. Our liberation depends on all of us."
That quote is so apropos with so many marches going on this month. Absolutely a bullet point. Napoleon?
I'm over
sorry,
here. Hi.
Right, Power? Sorry.
Well, for this segment, this particular segment, I myself was conflicted and torn about this one because I really, on the one hand, I kind of think that Janet Mock is on the road to Stonewall-ish. She's on the road to being on the road to Stonewall. I really don't, for all her accomplishments, I really don't see her as an icon yet. I think that her story is still yet to be written. But on the other hand, I feel that any gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or member of our community that is pushing down barriers and doing it for us and achieving and opening doors should be commended. And I cannot take away from this lady's work and what she's done. Her quote that I really echo is, "I believe that telling one's stories, first to ourselves and then to one another and the world, is a revolutionary act." And I picked that quote because, that being said, my real issue with this particular gay icon of the week is that, and it's no shade to Janet, but we are celebrating her, and everybody here has said something about Pose. She is telling, as the one person on this panel who is a member of the ballroom community, I'm the mother of the Florida chapter of the House of Infiniti, the iconic House of Infiniti. You know, I am a member of that world, and she is telling our story. But nobody seems to really, everybody is so enamored with Pose. What about the actual story? What about on the road to Stonewall, celebrating and highlighting the actual ballroom community? It is a community made up of people of color that have added so much to our gay community, added so much to our mainstream pop culture. Everybody takes from our dance, our lingo, our style, our words, our attitude, and that is not given enough credit. You know, what about the Dorian Coreys, the Pepe Le Beiges, the Willie Ninjas, the Venus Extravaganza, Octavia St. Laurent, and the ones today that are doing it, the Jack Mizrahis, you know, the fathers and mothers of all the house. I really think that that our gay community should really think and highlight our contribution in the ballroom scene, not just the small screen, not just the show, but the actual story of us as a community. She made it popular, and I'm very glad for that, and we very much appreciate her for that. But there is a world of heroes that The Messenger is talking about. We're celebrating The Messenger, not the heroes.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. Our celebration of the road to Stonewall is almost over. After tonight with Janet Mock, we will have 3 more people that we will talk about in our show. On June 28th, we will have the 50th celebration of the Stonewall riots. And drag queens and trans people principally were our leadership on June 28th, 1969. And we celebrate our civil rights movement. We're very proud to be associated with this segment. We hope you've enjoyed what we've done. We have 3 more. I continue to say, when we finish, when that parade rolls down Midtown Manhattan and World Pride, what's going to happen on July 1st, 2019? That, in many ways, is going to be more important than anything that we've said in the last 8 months in our road to Stonewall. But for tonight, Janet Mock is one of our celebrations of the Stonewall icons of the week, and we're happy to celebrate her. That brings our show to an end. We hope you've enjoyed it. As we always end our show, we get to drink, and we get to feed lots of non-gluten-free pizza to Napoleon. And a very good friend of mine is Thomas. I always love to see Thomas. He's the highlight of my midweek of
Hi,
Wednesday.
Thomas.
Look at your smile. Thomas is cute as a bug to me. Thomas, you're smiling a lot. Why are you smiling tonight?
I heard that there was a very sexy redhead by the name of Varla Jean. And for extra meat on her pizza.
Apparently she's a size queen and likes extra meat. Thank you, Thomas. All right, and somebody help me open this. We can do it.
Oh my God.
You've eaten Jets before, haven't you?
Oh man,
Yeah.
Varla, it's sausage and pepperoni.
I
You're in
have
heaven.
to fit into a dress on Saturday.
All right, very good. All right, so America, thank you for joining us. We'll be here next Wednesday night. A very packed week. We're going to do a political segment coming up. We're going to do this special show about gay Father's Day. You just couldn't wait, I guess. Apparently not. And we're going to broadcast Stonewall next Saturday. So we're very excited what we're going to show you next. So we give our host an opportunity to say goodnight. And while Power's got food in his mouth, say goodnight, Power.
Okay. Good night, children.
All right. And Carlos Marrero.
Good night, fashionistas, and remember that a smile, it's always in fashion.
All right. And my friend Aaron Phoenix.
Good night, gender fuckers.
Who woke me up at 4 o'clock this morning.
You're welcome.
Ask me about it later. And my friend Napoleon Plays.
Good night to all of you people out there who are looking to feel that sense of pride. We're here for you, and we love you.
And I'm thrilled to say I get to meet for the first time a drag legend, Varla Jean Merman.
Oh, thank you. And listen, thank you. And before we go, I'm going to plug myself. If you're in Fort Lauderdale, yes, I love plugging myself.
Do that on Facebook, girl. They'll shut us down.
They're going to block us.
If you're in Fort Lauderdale on this Saturday at 8 o'clock at the Sunshine Cathedral, I'm doing a show with My Big Funny Peter. And we're both doing a double bill, and then we're going to show the pilot of our sitcom that we filmed, Venton Chester. And you can get your tickets at mybigfunnypeter.com.
Excellent. I want to go. I want to
you
go.
should go.
Yeah,
It's
that
fun.
would be fun. America, we constantly tell you, we believe in gay culture. We do. We hope that there's still gay community. Our march to our celebration of the 50th anniversary is part of that. We continue to try to explore our gay community in every possible way. And if that's true, you're going to find it. Because if it's important to you, remember, it's happening out. Good night, America.